How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another stream on my channel. I don't know what I'm going to call these. I've thought about it. MJS Live was there for a while. It doesn't really need a name. It's not really important. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. If you are here live, I greatly appreciate it. But we do this every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So mark your calendar. Put a little thing in there for an hour or two. Just, block it out. Maybe you can do some work in the background while you listen. Should be some interesting conversations and topics that I'm going to cover here today. So let's dive into it here as soon as I get confirmation that my stuff is working properly, because I am always paranoid. Let me go to my thing here real quick. How's everyone doing? If you're in the chat here too, let me know where you're listening from and all that. I'm pretty confident it's working now, so I think we're good. Okay. All right. Here's where I'm at currently. As you can see by the title of today's live stream, obviously there is, I would say it was relatively, I do these weekly, obviously. So there's kind of generally there's some things that go on every week in WordPress. I'm a member of many different groups on Facebook, also the WP Minute. You should go check that out. You should go get in the Slack if you're not in there. You should get in the Make WP Slack. So if you just type in like Make WordPress chat or Slack, then you can get in there. But there's a lot always going on. There's a lot of different like current events and stuff. And genuinely, I really enjoy covering those types of things. It's just sometimes they're like, everybody's talking about them, or it just like kind of gets annoying at times. And I literally go back and forth thinking, should we talk more about news stuff and current events, or should we just talk about shit that is actually going to make people money, like technical stuff and ways to make websites better? I still like a blend. Because I think there's still something there. And then obviously the third prong is always like actual business, type of advice. So, Joe, appreciate you being here. Sunny Los Angeles. Is it nice out there right now? It's gotta be. It's gotta be hot-ish, right? Appreciate you being here. But anyway, so that's kind of literally where I'm at right now. And today I've been doing some different things. Like recently, I've been doing some technical stuff on my website. As you guys know, if you go to marksmansky.co, you can see a brand new website that I just launched there. Kind of a little bit of an MVP stage so far, but lot of good stuff coming down the pipe there. And then also, I'm going to plug this literally every single time for every single stream from now on, because I just think that it's one of the best the best courses that I've ever seen, and I'm a little biased because I made it, but it's one of the best courses for dynamic data if you're just getting into WordPress or if you know somebody that is. So I would highly recommend that you go check this out. We're doing pretty good, 750 views on at least on the first episode here, but I really think if you have never used dynamic data, or if you have and you're just not doing it all the time, you watch this series, you're gonna be like literally in the 90th percentile of people now that know about that stuff. And the best part about this is if you either like this or it's 100% money back guarantee, because it's free. So nothing lost there and only to gain. So definitely go check that out. At, good morning from Kansas. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Hello from Bangladesh. Nice. All we are now global. Awesome. Love it. Cape Cod. David Bell. Appreciate you being here, brother. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Always want to go over that. I'm going to continue to shill this free course that I made for the rest of my life. And maybe some other things at some point, but yeah. So then we got the website here. Again, if you guys haven't checked this out, definitely go take a look. Talked about it on stream recently. Join the list. You'll know when we're live, when we're going on special guest episodes. I'm going to have obviously like more of a full like newsletter thing here as I go. Just like doing all sorts of stuff here. But I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop. It's kind of got this little stay in the loop call to action. It's kind of funny, right? Little pun. But yeah, so a couple of things that I've added on here, and we'll come back to this later when we start building some AI stuff, because I do want to kind of do, and I think it'd be really kind of cool to build, it'd be very inception-y to build something live here that like uses the YouTube API live. I made a video recently about like some of the things that I'm doing to enhance bricks and enhance WordPress using like Claude, and just like make custom plugins and stuff like that. So later on, we'll kind of play around with that a little bit. But I'd love to have like a banner up here that automatically knows when I'm live and does it. And I have that to an extent, but it's very difficult to like not know exactly what you're doing while programming and then use Claude to like help you do it, and then not be able to like go back and like you're not building it yourself. So there's a lot of like debugging that you have to do, but you have to kind of even go further to figure it all out basically. So Real quick point on that, AI, I definitely don't think is going to like replace developers completely anytime soon, but it is a great aid for people that want to do some stuff with code that don't need to know every single bit. They just know what they want to do, and then they kind of translate it. Kind of get you there. You should still probably kind of, learn. Obviously, I wouldn't just say use it as a complete crutch. Is kind of my thought process on that right now. Wiki Design, what's up, guys? Mark, how you doing? Appreciate you being here, brother. Stay in the loop, Zing. Thank you, GP, PG. What's up, dog? Thank you for being here. Cool. All right, so here's what I want to do. There's been some interesting stuff. I'm going to rapid fire some of these things. This is what I do. This is, I wish I could export. Maybe I'll do this with the API one day. Like, I'll just like take all of my subscriptions, which are basically 99.9% WordPress and like web development subscriptions, and I'll just like API this onto my website or something. I could probably do it even a little simpler than that, but like somehow do that, or like export this list or something like that, because there's a lot of really good people that I follow, probably a lot of people that you guys follow as well. But there's been a lot of cool things just in the past 7 days, because this stuff moves fast and there's a lot of things that happen. So if we scroll down kind of where the last stream would have been, it's down the page. It is down the page. Just want to highlight on a few. There's zero. I'm not going through every single one of these. There's just some like like kind of quintessential highlights and everything like that I see that I just wanted to make comment on quick. Obviously, Kevin's Dear WordPress video has made a lot of headway. I would recommend you go watch his full live stream recently on that as well, which is probably up further on this page. There's a lot to talk about. Again, I love talking about this stuff. I want to try to keep it a little bit technical today, though, as well, if possible, because I could talk about this shit for literally hours and hours and hours. And I think that there is a lot of good that can come out of that, but also at the same time, and I'll talk about it, some recent ones, like it's like productive, but at the same time, like it's good to have the conversations. We definitely shouldn't not have the conversations. I know that's double negative, but at the same time, we actually do need to, like actually impact. If you want to impact change or whatever, you have to actually like do something. So Kevin's a good example of that. But like myself and like people that like don't like, if we don't have like any power and any influence, like we should definitely try to find the power and the influence and then like kind of go to that well, I feel like. I know that's quite, abstract in a way, but that's kind of like, I just, I literally get jaded sometimes because I think it's just like just talking into a void, but we're making headway. There's some cool things that are happening. The YouTuber community is kind of cool. Like the program that Ann McCarthy is putting on, fantastic stuff there. I appreciate talking to people that have actual, there's this concept now where like we have a lot of speculation. I'm sure this isn't new. Okay, I'm just new. So there's a lot of speculation, and then we have to go find out if that speculation is accurate or if it needs revised. And then we know the kind of like pseudo truth at least, and then at least we know. You know what I mean? Instead of just like sitting around thinking about different stuff. Which again, a lot of the thoughts and everything like that are educated guesses. But it's just an interesting time, and I always like to share this stuff with you guys. David Bell, thank you. Very cool website. I love seeing the beautiful the tools people use. 100%, man. Appreciate it. I think you were one of my big inspirations for finishing that, because I appreciate you wanting to know more about the tools that I use. So yeah, it's MVP right now. We can talk more about it later, but I want to do a lot more stuff there with the website as well. So a lot of cool stuff. I'll shout out Hartford WordPress here. I was actually on this. This is a meetup, and I've talked about these meetups before. Shout out Brendan O'Connell for getting me into the meetup space of WordPress. I had no idea about it before he told me. There's a ton of really good meetups. If you guys are itching for more like WordPress content, trying to understand like how people use the platform and all that sort of stuff, there are a lot of really good people. There's at least like 15 to 20 really good people, probably more, that are putting on WordPress meetups around the country virtually for all people to come. And like it's a mix of like news and really good information that anybody in WordPress would care about. And then there's also like DIYers and things that come to those meetings, and then you get to kind of like diagnose the problems. If you like that, then that's a really good place to go. Literally just go to Meetup, type in WordPress. You'll start finding WordPresses all over the world. There is one page where you can see like all of them, because they're all kind of like interconnected under the WordPress umbrella, but they're all over. I mean, there's one in Pittsburgh. We just had a recent meeting. That one's in Hartford, Connecticut. There's a ton on the West Coast, which is kind of like annoying. It's not annoying. It's tough for me because I'm up till like midnight doing it. But everybody's good. it's a really interesting thing. I've enjoyed the times that I've been on the meetups and everything like that. Okay, so Matt and I did a this was recorded directly after our I'm losing my mind because I know last week I streamed with Brendan on here when we were talking about APIs and stuff, which was a good chat. But last week we had our creator call. Was that on Tuesday? Yeah, had to have been. No, I can't remember. Anyway, we had the creator call. Kevin talked about it on his recent stream. Matt and I kind of addressed it a little bit in this one that I just linked up here, kind of open source versus commercial. This is a constant battle that I completely cannot understand. I'm still trying to understand it. I don't know if I'll ever understand it, like the idea of open source versus commercial and how like this whole apparatus is still intertwined, but still open source and not commercial, like Automatic and WordPress.org, WordPress.com. I mean, I'm slowly uncovering it, but I mean, there's been people that have been trying to figure this out for 20 years, let alone me for a year. So I don't know. I really always appreciate Matt and everybody else's like wisdom and thought processes on it, but it's very interesting. And I love it because I'm just that kind of person that I'm just constantly curious and trying to get to the understanding of things. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like especially recently, and like the headway that's gonna happen, I feel like here in the back half of the year, I'm excited for WCUS. Hopefully, meet and talk to a bunch of people there. Like it's just a weird spot. Like I mean, and then we'll talk about it today. The other big thing that I want to talk about here briefly in the beginning is the Tumblr thing, which is interesting. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll talk about it in a second. But just like a lot of interesting conversations and a lot of really good pieces, thoughts, goals, I feel like, that come out of Automatic and just the whole apparatus there. It's just like very ambitious, and which is great, but like it's like people get like, myself included, like almost like impatient and confused as far as priority levels of things and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just trying to understand how that gets sorted. And again, the YouTuber call, if you hadn't seen that second one, is kind of a good, to a certain degree, like a good, a peek behind the curtain there. But yeah, there's just a lot of different things going on there. So, what else we got here? Joe, I'd rather stay up late for a meetup than these early mornings. I agree with that, Joe. I appreciate you being here. David, what's up, brother? Good to see you here. Peter, thanks for the Hartford meetup shout out. We'll do our best. No, 100%. Peter, that is Peter Ingersoll here from the Hartford meetup. 100%. Definitely go check out Hartford. These guys know what they're talking about. I think that was my first time at the Hartford one, and I just really appreciate it because again, you have this nice blend of people that have been in the space, they're seasoned, they know their stuff, and then you have some like sometimes you have some DIYers, and I really like the idea of trying to help people do stuff, and fix things, and sometimes it's difficult, but a lot of times, it's just stuff that's like kind of there's so much there's this concept of like trying to simplify websites and the web and everything like that, and that is like probably the one of the most difficult tasks you could ever ask yourself to try to do, because there's too many pieces, they're so complex. Like I've seen questions about like email DNS. I've seen in different variety of meetup groups, I've seen questions about email DNS. I've seen questions about like just simple design things in the customizer. The gamut is so wide and so large that that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But the idea of like simplifying a platform or web design in general is just it is. I feel like I like the idea. I see where it comes from, but it just I don't know if it's realistic, like long term, like big picture type thing. I mean, you could simplify things, you can encapsulate things, you can abstract things away, but it's at the end of the day, I don't know how like super beneficial that ends up being. I think there's definitely a diminishing returns in that to a certain degree. Brennan, again, echoing that 100%. It was a fantastic meetup. I missed the Lancaster WordCamp. That was solid WordCamp. It was more technical compared to other WordCamps. Interesting. I know we had one in Pittsburgh in like 2018 or something, but yeah, I don't know what happened here. Also, I really wish that Restream would be able to make my face bigger on this layout here, but that's a story for a different time because Restream is annoying me. But let's keep going through this. I'm really interested in this, to be honest with you. Kyle over at the admin bar is going to be doing a live stream like from WordCamp. I think he said he's in the description. I think he's gonna be like interviewing and talking to people and stuff like that. That'll be kind of cool. I mean, obviously, I have a live stream scheduled every Thursday, and I will be at WordCamp when that is taking place. I don't know what I'm gonna do there yet. Maybe I'll turn the camera on and live stream some stuff. If somebody wants to talk or something like that. But I'll need to make sure that I have like a microphone or something so it doesn't suck. But I don't know. Idea, maybe. We'll see. But hopefully a lot of you guys are there at WordCamp. I'd love to see you. I'd love to meet you in person because this is a very interesting situation where we know a lot of people on the internet. Like all of us know each other, but a lot of us haven't seen each other in person. So very excited for that. Let's see if there's any other just big ones I want to hit on here. Again, this one hasn't happened for a while, but Matt always puts out good stuff here. Interested to talk to Marcus as well at WordCamp as well, but I'm interested to hear about this, how to prepare for WordCamp. So I've heard some different things, right? We hear that, I've heard that the talks suck and you got to do like the hallway track and talk to everybody. Makes sense. Definitely going to do that. There are a couple talks though in there. There are some things that are interesting to me that I think I'm definitely going to hit up as far as the actual presentations and things, but we shall see there. Randomly also, I'm going to probably hop on this later or catch this on the replay depending on how long I go here, but the problems with WordPress. I mean, this type of content again is just the stuff that I like. Like I don't ever want to like bash anything or hate on like WordPress or really any platform, but I just love the concept of like constructively critiquing things that you actually love and you actually enjoy and you use on an everyday basis. And I love that type of thing. I love getting different people's perspectives on that because that's the other problem too. Is like you talk to Peter in the chat here at the Hartford. He sees like he's met all these different people, right? As an example through these meetups, and he's gonna tell you like a litany of things that those people have expressed to him, and he's like probably one of the, if you want to go after like DIYers as an example, potentially might be one of the biggest advocates or like wealths of knowledge for that because literally boots on the ground every single day, every single week, whatever, like talking to those types of people, right? Versus you talk to somebody that like, maybe like does consulting for agencies or somebody that talks to agencies all the time, agency owners and freelancers on YouTube or on just like other consulting things. Those are the types of people that are going to be extremely knowledgeable on what those types of people are, the issues those types of people are facing. So there's just too many damn perspectives for like one person or like a group of people or whatever to kind of like figure out and deal with. It's just there's too many problems for too many different avatars. That's why you need more perspectives and things like that and actually listen and hear them out, which I think is kind of going on to a certain extent. But I think always more of it is better. We just got to make sure that we're actually like not just shouting into the void, I feel like. Marcus, appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you so much. Let's see. Looking forward to meeting you as well. What do we got here? David, I'm heading to the WP UK meetup in a few hours. Andrew Palmer. Yeah, 100%. I've seen, I think Andrew was Andrew on here last time? Or I know he's on the, I want to get to the product talk one because I know he's going to give a nice presentation out there. So I'm looking forward to seeing that or hearing about that. But, yeah, if I lived in the UK, I would be there. So I'm looking forward to hearing the recap on that. Let's see. Any other ones here? Cool. Yeah, in person. Okay, cool. I think we're caught up there. Sweet. All right, so what else we got here? I didn't even see this video here from the Website Architect, but I do want to watch that one. If you're not subscribed to the Website Architect, you should. I tried to reach out to him. Has not gotten back to me, but I know he's a busy guy. What do we got here? Davedon. Nice. Accessibility review, 6 tabs. I need to get better accessibility. I should watch this. We should all watch this, truthfully. Throw that in there for you guys. This is like so Inception-y that we got like people in the chat that I'm literally looking at on this thing. The feeling is not lost on me. It's very interesting. Excited for this one too. Obviously coming up pretty much right after this as well. D123, what's up, brother? Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being at the meetup the other day as well. That was a very, very welcomed presence. Let's just say that. Appreciate that. What do we got here? Yeah, talked about Tonic there. Any other ones here real quick? Just sliding through. This was a great interview. Again, this is the type of stuff that I would love to see more of, and I know that Matt is on board with me here, and obviously he's doing it. But Derek Hansen, I'm always seeing them in the chat and the comments and everything like that, loving the perspective and everything like that. I think Derek is an automatician, and I think that those types of interviews and those types of like conversations and things are just very productive. We can hear, we can see, we can like get different perspectives again, different like perspectives of somebody that's like closer to the project, closer to the direction of the project, understands it. I'm assuming has to be in some sort of, meetings, you know what I mean, like about it, rather than just just us kind of speculating, kind of more so from the outside and just kind of like boots on the ground stuff. I don't know. It's a really cool thing. I would love to see more of it. Mark and Barbara put on a great live stream here the other day too. How the website is I'm not sure. I think you guys did a couple recently. I think there was another one here somewhere. I know I was popping in on one. Had a lot of good info in those, so I appreciate that. Always appreciate that type of content as well. I don't know Lee Blue. I think I tried to reach out to him one time, but this is just I love that. That's so funny. It's just like a nice little WordPress story, or WordPress song. It's awesome. Obviously KG here. We talked about this. I mean, again, I would highly recommend watching that as well. Again, if you haven't seen the philosophy of WordPress, it's kind of interesting. Again, we could have a deeper conversation on that, but effectively, it's kind of from the beginning, kind of a publishing tool, publishing platform, and I think that that's a good concept, good idea. Again, on the surface, I do tend to at least right now, until somebody convinces me otherwise, I tend to believe that it's not just that anymore. Like it can be so much more than that. Maybe the core of it. Okay, if we just want to talk about the core of it, yeah, but that's not how people actually see it. I don't feel like, or how like per se maybe people should see it. But when you say the word should, it's like, who the fuck am I to say like what it should or shouldn't be? So that's really the problem. That's like exactly the problem for the way that my meta brain works is like, I get to the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, like maybe it shouldn't be like this, but like, is that my call? Obviously it's not. I don't even know whose call that is. Apparently it's Matt Mullenweg's. Apparently it is kind of other people's, but it's not. I literally don't know. So I would love to just continue to seek the answers to that question so I would know. Buddy with the super chats. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for all the sponsor spots today. Well, you keep putting out good stuff, man. I love your watch parties, your fake live streams. No, I'm just kidding. It's good stuff, buddy. I appreciate you. You know that. Another one. This guy right on cue. Also a good one. Didn't get a chance to fully watch that one, but the premise is fantastic, and I think we need more of that as well. Like why is WordPress like different, difficult, and all that sort of stuff. I mean, but again, that kind of just the headline reading of that in the couple minutes that I took a look at that so far. Like that is another good conversation. Is like we have to like think about that from the audience side, and I think there's a lot of other things that we're doing here recently that kind of go about that. Okay, just to wrap up here, obviously Brian did a great. He's taking a play out of the. I don't know if he did a live practice. He might have did it. I might have stole this from him, but regardless, he's gonna be on stage at WCUS. I got to go to that one too, doing the speed build again. So, doing some live practice. Gotta appreciate that. George, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Okay, so here's the thing. This is a really good one. Okay, so the product talk episode here recently. Yesterday, Matt Cromwell, Amber Hines, Miriam Schwab, Noel, and what do we got here? And then Yoast. I apologize. And Rich Tabor. So that was a really good episode yesterday. Hopefully you guys all watched it. You should definitely go take a look at it. Very interesting. Is WordPress market share declining? Is it not? And then again, we got Matt over here giving a write up. So I don't know. Just at a high level, let me go back over here for a second. At a high level, I'm still figuring it out personally. Obviously, haven't been here that long, but to me, it kind of seems like my overall vibe from kind of like that video and like all the other conversations is very interesting now that we are getting, we'll call it like, I don't know how to define individuals, and I don't want to like put labels on people. We'll say like people that are like more like influential in a sense of like like their roles or different things like that. Like I just think that's really interesting, truthfully. Like having this conversation of just being a part of the conversation of, is WordPress like stagnating, declining, or whatever. But at the same time, we remember at the end of the day, no matter who is in this space, who is talking about these things, if you're in WordPress and you use WordPress every day and your business relies on WordPress, there is a 0% chance that you actually want WordPress to fail. That's too big of a generalization, but honestly, like it doesn't make actual sense. So if somebody holds that opinion, unless they have some sort of like crazy scheme like in the back end, like that's got to be number one. You know, like it wouldn't make logical sense to assume otherwise. It may be the case because crazy things have happened, but it wouldn't make logical sense. So like that's one of the ones where if you speculate the other way, it's like you're not really making an educated guess. So putting that on the table, like there's a lot of people that make a living off of WordPress, love WordPress, have been in it for a very long time, and they just want to see it succeed. That being said, at the same time, they have opinions that are like, well, this could be better. XYZ could be better, whatever. So, and I'm kind of like sort of in that camp. Like I want it to continue to get better, and I think that there's ways to make it better. And you know, I just consume all this information, and I try to give my take on it. This video yesterday specifically on this episode on WP Product Talk was a great one. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy getting the perspectives from people that have been in this longer than me, have had more success than me, have had way more connections than me with like, and like actually like either been a part of growing businesses or have grown businesses directly themselves, and then have actually contributed to WordPress they've made money, but they've contributed to WordPress possibly in more than one way, but at least in one way of like putting out a product or enhancing people's experiences through those products, so to speak. And I just really, I thought it was a good conversation. I thought it was honestly a little surprising to see, because like I hadn't really heard that before though. I hadn't heard it from people outside of like, we'll call it like the main WordPress YouTuber space. I hadn't heard it from like people in product. It probably had already been said, but I hadn't heard it. So it was kind of interesting to hear like, yeah, we should probably consider the fact that like these other platforms are potentially easier to use or do like more marketing or XYZ or whatever. And we talked about Andrew Palmer earlier. He's going to be speaking at WP London or WP UK WordCamp, you know, I'm sorry, whatever it's called out there in London. Like, you know, that he was in the comments there. He was providing some good stuff. Like a lot of people, a lot of names, a lot of interesting conversations back and forth about like, you know, hey, maybe we should like give a marketing budget to like .org or whatever, so it could kind of like be separate and everything. Like I haven't theorized and thought about every single one of these, but there's a lot of really good stuff, right? And a lot of different ideas. And I just hope that like these conversations can like, somehow like make it back up the chain to people that actually like influence and everything like that, and make decisions, because I feel like that's the only way that anything's going to really get done or anything could change. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at on some of that. Matt and Mark's talk, the WordPress paradox open source versus commercial, is one of the best honest discussions about WP and its confusing position. Peter, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it was, again, I think that was the one right after our call with, which I should grab that link if you guys haven't seen that, because I think that I just really appreciate Anne putting that together and putting these on. And this one particularly, because we had even like a more robust base of people here. I think it's definitely worth a watch. It's all about the philosophy. It's about the feedback of WordPress and everything like that. And again, there's a couple questions you have to make. Is it like, are we like, is there any reason to change the philosophy? Has it evolved? Whatever. And then it's like, okay, well, if we are going to change it, then what would it change to? If we're not going to change it, then I guess you have to live with it, and then like you have to make a decision from there. Because like, again, at a certain point, like, I don't know, it's just confusing. You know what I mean? Like it is a little confusing. It's confused. But the problem is actually, I think it's kind of confusing for everyone, because I feel like there's, you know, DIYers and people like that are kind of confused. They got to like search for that information, but it's also confusing for the people that have used it for a while. I'm not saying every platform is perfect. I'm not saying WordPress could ever be perfect. It's just, you know, like when you have like so many people that care about something, and you have so many people willing to talk about it for fucking years and years on end about something, you know, I feel like you have to listen to them. You know what I mean? Like you have to like hear them out. You have to like potentially be like, well, you know what? This person has used this platform for literally every day for like 15 years or whatever. Like, do you think that maybe they have like an opinion on it that might be valid? I feel like the answer to that question is yes, unless they're a completely crazy person, which I'm sure exists, but I don't really think it's, you know, so I don't know. Let's see here. David, I think I saw an X or a tweet by Anita, I believe. She said WP started as a blogging platform before all the CMS stuff, so why shouldn't it continue to consider the little people? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, Matt Medeiros put out a nice poll the other day, like, what's the best label for WordPress? And it was like, publishing tool. I could bring it up. Publishing tool, blogging platform. No. I'm missing it. CMS. CMS was one. Let me just go to it. There was, because I'll tell you which one I clicked. Where's it at? Was it on your? There it is right here. Let me go back over here. Okay. So here's the poll, right? That Matt put out. And Matt's got connections, so people were voting in this. We got 68 people. It's a decent sample size because, I mean, like, how many people, like, you know, based on how many people, like, would care about this label, right? Like, I mean, people do care, but I think that a lot of them, like, supplementarily care. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they care, but they don't or like subconsciously care. Like, they don't actually, you know. So anyway, the best label for WordPress right now is blog and publishing tool, website builder, CMS, or other. And CMS won. Your boy picked CMS. So, like, I think that the thing is, like, I think that these are all interesting things. Like it is a blog and publishing tool. It also is literally becoming a website builder. Other, I'm not exactly sure what we're calling other, but CMS, I mean, I feel like at the core of it is CMS. Now, the question would be, and I like the way that Matt put this question, this poll question up here, because it's right now. Again, I think, you know, in terms of like eras and stuff like that, you know, Kevin is alluding to this stuff, that there's, you know, he's going to talk about like kind of the eras and everything like that. I wasn't here that long. Okay. So I don't know all the eras. I came in the page building era, so I have a different perspective. But at the same time, like, I know it was a blog and publishing tool. It still is. I know it's becoming a website builder. I think it's going to be, and I think it is currently right now. I think CMS, though, when you say CMS, and anytime you type in WordPress on the internet, I think most of the time they're going to say CMS. Now, again, that's a problem to an extent because, like, you don't want people to label you something that you're not. But at the same time, if you have a ton of people labeling something that you are something, then it's like, I don't know. So it would be very interesting to get like mass engagement on this poll and see like what people say. But to me, like, I've thought of WordPress as a CMS for a very long time, because I think that, like, if you were a CMS, you could also be a blogging publishing tool, because, like, you're managing your content and you're also able to publish it. I think it's all of these. So maybe, again, and this is the constant problem I feel like we've always had, is like trying to put like such a large, robust tool into like a box. It's very difficult. I'm not saying any of these questions are easy to answer. I just think that there's like certain things that are just kind of interesting. One other thing that just came to mind about from the market, or I'm sorry, the WP product talk episode yesterday, is there was some conversation around like we need like a cohesive, I think it was Mike McAllister that brought up, but we need like a cohesive, there's a couple adjectives in there, or something like cohesive, unrelenting, something, a message, like conglomerate of messaging for WordPress, and then we just spout that out, like everyone spouts it out together. I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly the full context. It's a one-line comment in YouTube, on a YouTube live, but the thing is, like, that's not a bad idea. But my next question, second, right after that in the live thing, was what is the messaging? And I don't know if we're ever even going to have that answer. That's the problem, is because, like, we have just too many people that think too many different ways about this platform and this project. Which also, another random thing, I know I'm spitballing here. I love this shit. Like I said, I said it was going to be short. We'll get to some technical stuff, but hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let me know. Leave a like if you do. But I'm on a search for like understanding and trying to like put these pieces together. I've never spoken to Rich Tabor directly, but he was on there, and I've watched a ton of his content, interviews that he's done. I think he's a great designer. He's done a lot for the thing. I've been in the GitHub. He is very active in there, so huge kudos there. Obviously, automatician. But the confusing part that I have is I hear people call WordPress a project, and I hear it call a product, and then I also hear some other people call it a product and then get shit on for calling it a product. Rich is calling it a product in that video. So, like, and I know it might be like a pseudo way to call it a product, where it's like, this is a product as a sense of what we put out, But at the same time, like we gotta be better with the semantics. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just like it's very confusing. Like it is like we're taking something that's already confusing and complex and making it 10 times more confusing because like we're saying, oh, you can, oh, like it is this, but oh, you cannot say it like that. Like it's mind numbing as somebody that like try to make everything like a little bit more compartmentalized and like make it make sense. Just a random thought there. Again, great stuff. Really appreciate the insight. Um, just just leaving my thoughts out here on the internet to see if anybody agrees or disagrees or whatever. So other comments we got here. I think these might have been from a couple minutes ago. Yep. Don't think I care much about the label like you. I'm relatively new to WP. Yep. It's interesting. I mean, I think labels are like kind of important, but it's important to understand like where the labels are coming from, how they were assigned, things like that, and then also the data, which surprisingly I don't know. Either we don't have access to the data or the data doesn't exist. Because like there's got to be some level of more data, you would think, to some degree about something. I don't know how you would exactly do it. It's obviously open source. I'm sure it'd be difficult to track, but I don't know. Something to think about. Okay, what else we got here? AT, all in on WordPress, and I would hate to see it fail. I wouldn't know where to go if I didn't make it Webflow, Framer, Wix, or Squarespace. Yeah, I mean that's another good point. It's like I don't think I would go out on a limb and say most people don't want to see it fail. I would go out on a limb and say most people enjoy the idea of everything being free and open source. And yeah, I also don't know where I would go or what I would do. Surprising. It's funny how Webflow. This is just random aside too. We're spitballing a little bit today. That's what I do. It's funny how a lot of people say Webflow as one of the top ones. Like it's funny how to me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. It's funny how WordPress people always like the second word out of their mouth is Webflow. And I'm not saying like you AT. I'm just saying in general because I've noticed this. But if you actually look on like Google Trends, like on a chart of like WordPress versus Webflow versus Squarespace versus Wix versus Shopify, Webflow is way at the fucking bottom, which like is interesting to me because I have tried Webflow and I think it's a pretty solid platform, but there's so many now that like I think Webflow, I don't know the numbers. I don't know if it's newer, but I feel like its rise has been like more recent. So it's just funny to me. And this is a really interesting point though, right? Like why is Webflow the second word out of most like WordPressers like mouths, so to speak? Like what are we seeing or what are we exposed to that is making it seem assumingly like way more? Is it just because it's kind of like more for like actual web designers rather than DIYers? Could that be it? And like most of us might be in that camp that are actually talking about this stuff. Maybe. I don't know. That's just a random aside. But yeah, Wix. I mean, like again, Wix Pro, Squarespace. I don't know. Was it on? Where did I just watch this? I was some piece of content. It might have been that product talk one. It might have been a different one. I'm not 100% sure. But obviously, we can see how like Wix and Squarespace, Wix specifically, kind of has like pivoted a little bit because originally they were just targeting like DIYers, and now they have like Wix Pro, Wix Studio, whatever the hell it's called, right? In Squarespace, whatever. Like they're all like creating more things that like are going to give opportunity for more people to try, right? For more people to do it. Not just DIYers now, but actual people that want to use the platform, I guess, rather than WordPress or something else. So I don't know. It's another interesting conversation to have. David, I think this is from D123 David. I think the point is that WP seems a little to trying to focus on only the little people while doing it unsuccessfully. We, little and big, suffer all because of it. Yeah, I mean, this is a constant thing. I mean, we're just talking about this all the time is, it's difficult to serve a ton of audiences. It's even more difficult to do it well. But I don't know. There's just kind of like it seems like a disparity. It seems like, potentially like making it as easy as possible for people to publish content. I like that idea. Making it as easy as possible for developers to extend the current UI of like Gutenberg. I think that actually does work. I just am not in that realm, but I see people like Brian Cords and others do that. So I think those two ends are kind of like being covered, getting covered, stuff like that to a degree. There's definitely, I'm sure there's problems, but like, it really seems like that middle of people that are like technical, maybe like lower code developers, designers, developers, whatever you want to call yourselves, admins, myself kind of included in that bucket. are just seemingly like they feel unheard and underserved. And I don't know like if anyone else like understands where that leads, but like or where it like seemingly through history leads. Like it's just like this seems so extremely normal from like a cycle perspective, like a normal human history perspective. It doesn't have to be in like tech. It could be like in just like in society or whatever. Like when you have a large group of people that are constantly feeling like they're not heard and they're not like being served, so to speak, with the thing that they love, and they're constantly talking about it, and they're constantly saying, "Hey, I would really appreciate it if you considered what I needed out of this platform or considered whatever." And again, we're gonna get like a ton of comments about like it's being open source and why don't you just throw a fucking issue in the GitHub? Like I totally get all that, okay? But I'm saying like it goes a little bit bigger than that. I feel like because when you continue to do that over and over and over again, and you don't feel heard. I'm not even this again. This is more of a feely thing. Like there's some actual tangible fact to it as well, but it's more of a feely thing. You don't understand. Like it gets so powerful so fast. It's kind of weird. It's a very interesting. I'm just sitting here kind of watching it all, but it's a really interesting thing. But that sums it up very well there. DK, what do we got here? Brendan, Mike said the kind of marketing we need to move. This is a little bit ago. Yeah, the kind of marketing we need to move the needle is unrelenting, uncompromising, sustained, highly coordinated, and with a coherent and transparent strategy so others can buy it. I mean, again, I agree with that. I just don't know what that would be. You know what I mean? Focusing too much on little people. Yep, got it. And then I think Webflow is top of mind for me because the YouTube algo feeds me a lot of why I left WordPress. That's interesting. I don't get those too much, but also hack for you. I don't have one for mobile, but on the desktop, if you're using like a Chromium, I guess, browser or whatever, if you get Unhook, the extension, that has probably saved my life a lot of times because I get rid of all the stuff that it recommends me because I would just be watching like pure golf content like 24/7 because that's all that comes up on my phone. But if you're in that and you're in that situation, like yeah, like I try to limit it. But that's a really again, we have to take a step back sometimes and think about what the algos, so to speak, not just YouTube, are feeding us. This is all meta. I just love this shit. I'm like a psychologist. We have to take a step back sometimes and think about like, okay, these are my actions. This machine, this algorithm probably knows me better than I do. Like why is it feeding me these things? And then that's where you start to get like, that is an interesting case to back where we're talking about in AT's original comment of like Webflow, Framer, like whatever, because these are what other people are doing. And it's like, are those people like me? Well, the YouTube algorithm is recommending to me they probably are like me. So it makes sense. That's a really good insight there. WordPress the CMS is a product. WordPress, the plugins, themes, social media, photo directory, etc. is the WordPress project. Social media, photo directory, etc. is the product. Okay. I get that. I'm still a little confused on that. WordPress, the themes and okay, yeah, open source, social media. Not exactly sure on that one. Photo directory, etc. in the WordPress project. Yeah, I mean, I guess I get that. I need a little bit more context on that, but like I'm understanding, I guess. I don't understand how like the CMS part specifically is a product, or like, we're just saying like that aspect of WordPress. I would need more clarity on that, but I kind of see where you're coming from there. As I always say, without real, valid statistics analysis, we are left to opinion more than fact-based discussions. It drives me nuts and say things like everyone wants that's opinion. Yeah, I mean, 100%. I'm probably guilty of that. I would love a solution for that. I would love to see how we can like actually maybe get some of that data. But again, I think we've talked about it before. It's not, it doesn't exist, which is frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. Or we could just poll everyone. Maybe we should just poll everyone. That might be an idea. Just saw the Bluehost commercial. I'm not a Bluehost user, but it was a good commercial. Don't recall what network. I'll have to check that out. I don't think I've seen it yet. I want to know how many people. I want to know how many little people use WordPress versus not little people. That would be a good statistic to have. I have no idea how we get that. I guess we have to poll people or something. If we don't have any sort of way to kind of go about it, I don't know what the variable would be that you would measure for on like WordPress installs or something. I'm not exactly sure how that would work. Yeah, not 100% sure. Marcus, yeah, I just meant the core CMS is the product and just a part of the larger project. Gotcha. Makes sense. Cool. Okay, so let's go back over here for a second. Just want to talk about this real quick, and then maybe we'll do some actual work. Okay, so WordPress, I'm sorry, Automatic bought Tumblr, I guess a few years ago, probably before I was paying attention. And then now they're doing like this whole thing where I guess like they're making Tumblr and WordPress. I don't know. They're hosting the Tumblr blogs on WordPress, which is like an interesting thing. I've seen a couple of different takes on this, specifically in the WP Minute Slack. You should go join that. Um, there's this idea of like the Fediverse and stuff like that. I think that maybe that like might come into play to a degree. A little bit of theory crafting from Matt Medeiros, I believe, if I read that all correctly. But the idea here is like, people are going to look at this and people are going to be like, why the fuck are we focusing on this? And I kind of understand that side. The other side of it is like, I literally don't even know what Tumblr is. I thought it was pictures a while back or whatever, and I haven't been on there a while. I type it in and like I immediately go on there. I'm like, this is an interesting situation. Saw a little bit of a cesspool of weird posts, but like I guess the idea at a high level, maybe I have no idea, is that we're gonna make WordPress blog posts more like social media, almost in a way where you can kind of have everything. It would be cool if you could follow things and do stuff. WordPress.com, I think it's WordPress.com. The way that WordPress.com works is kind of cool if I'm saying that correctly, which I'm still not 100% certain on this. Like meaning it's really cool how I can be logged in to WordPress.com and then go to other websites that are a part of that, which I'm sure you could do with .org some way somehow and tap into it. But like you don't have to log in. You're just like you automatically use your it's like pulling in your avatar and everything like that, and your like WordPress.com account, so to speak, to do that. I really like that concept. I haven't utilized it specifically in any of my stuff, but that's kind of interesting. Another piece of data I would love to know though is how many people are blogging and how many people are actually engaging with blogs nowadays. Now I know there's a lot of people that are blogging and putting posts up, right? Like a ton of news networks and stuff like that. But over time, I just think it's been very interesting to see how just the small things that I've noticed. Like for instance, right? If you go to a news website, I'm pretty sure most of the time they're doing like actual, news, like posts, right? News posts, and they're probably using either a WordPress or some sort of equivalent. Sometimes they let you comment on the bottom of them. So, I mean, I guess if it's WordPress, maybe they're using the built-in comment system, but a lot of other times I feel like you're signing in, with like a Facebook or something like that to leave your comment or whatever. And it's just very like I want more data on that. You know what I mean? I want more data on how many people are blogging, how many people are engaging with blogs, because I have never once thought to do that. And I know my opinion does not span the opinion of everyone, but I've never really thought to do heavy on the blog content because I feel like if I zoomed out, my educated guess would be that yes, people are still reading and still writing. Obviously, that's not going to like go away, but I just feel like there's a huge uptick, especially more recently. I'm talking past 5-10 years on video and on different types of medium. Now, again, I'm not saying that like that's completely different. We're still saying words, indexing, all that sort of stuff. But I'm just interested to see how this, as one micro piece of this whole next gen of things that we're doing here on the internet, gets wrapped up, played into the whole schema. Like what I mean is people are already bitching about SEO going away due to AI and Google putting AI and stuff, like AI in the search results and like the map packs real high. Like they're already bitching about that. Like this is an interesting way to maybe like seemingly kind of take like WordPress, Tumblr, form like maybe some sort of like federated social media or something like that, perhaps. I don't know. Interesting thing. I just we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know if I have any other like super strong opinions on this. I just think that it's an interesting situation. I often wonder though, like Automatic has a huge list of things that it's working on, and it's got like 2,000 plus employees, and I just wonder like this reminds me of like what I tried to do when I first started making businesses, and I just started like 5 different companies doing like random different shit, and I was just trying to do it all myself. And I know obviously they have 2,000 people, but I just still wonder like how you could possibly like handle all of this, and all these different verticals and all these different stuff. I know some of the projects and stuff are smaller, but it just seems like a lot. And if any of the speculation is true about like like Matt Mullenweg like having his hand in all these types of things like that seems a little unsustainable to me. And I just hope that there's I hope that there's a plan for like like a contingency plan on all that sort of stuff, because I feel like that's probably one of the biggest threats to like just the continuation of it. A lot of good people, obviously, like we already mentioned, Ann McCarthy, Rich Tabor, ton of great people, Josepha, but just interesting, just interesting to me, just as somebody who is navigating through all of it. So, all right, well, with that out of the way, 50 minutes into the thing, maybe we should talk about something else. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like WP's two biggest audiences are affiliate marketers, bloggers, and web developers building websites for businesses. They seem to favor the affiliate marketers side of the equation. Yeah, I don't know if it's specifically like affiliate marketer bloggers per se. Could be. I feel like there's a higher likelihood that it's probably just right. I mean, obviously, if you're blogging, maybe that is a piece of it. I don't know. I feel like potentially news organizations and such kind of use it to an extent or have used it. I don't know if they've changed it all or anything like that. But yeah, I think that again, it's a publishing platform. That's what it's basically deemed. If you look at the philosophy and everything, it's a blogging tool. It always has been. You and I and many people like potentially on this have probably used it for way more than that. But I think there just needs to be. I think if we needed to rewrite the philosophy at a high level, I think maybe just like, or I don't know, maybe you don't even need to write it. But if I was gonna like make a statement, right? I feel like WordPress is. I think you would say. I think a better way to say it would be like WordPress core is a publishing tool, which it's not anymore because it's going to be it is a website builder at this point. But okay, so it's a publishing tool with a website builder built in. But it's funny. I said it was a CMS. This is actually funny. I'm doing a little bit of a 180. I said it was a CMS, but actually the core of WordPress really isn't. Like it is, and it could be extended to that. But really, there should be a better. There's too many problems with the words. Like it's an actual serious issue. There should be more better language around this project because WordPress and WordPress.org and WordPress.com was single-handedly the worst decision that I've ever seen made ever in like branding. I mean, it might have been like I'm not sure if it was I'm not sure if it was intentional or not. It was actually a really great idea, like confusion-wise, like confusing people for potential benefit, but like actual semantic language, extremely difficult to understand. When you start digging into it, it's like this is probably doing more harm than good for overall, but probably more good than harm for actual automatic because it just confuses people and then just goes to .com. But anyway, there is, a bit of that I feel like the language piece like is really just like extremely detrimental. I can't remember exactly where I was going with that, to be honest with you, but yeah. So I don't know. Just to wrap that up there, I think that there are a lot of people building websites with it. It can be extended to be a lot more things. The core of it probably is a publishing tool, but it's absolutely going to be a website builder now. And CMS wise, again, I would say it could be extended to be that. So D123 to Peter, good Q. My opinions come from the many WP help desk style meetups I attend, host, and facilitate. Yeah. Again, I feel like these meetups are fantastic. The reason I love the meetups so much, again, just to reiterate, is because you get to meet seasoned veterans and you get to meet people that are just doing this for themselves, either for the very first time or people that have been like running their own specific website. They don't build websites for other people, but they've been running their website for a very long time. And I mean, I don't actually know. Maybe it's different now because it's so big. I don't actually know. And I'm gonna bring this up. Automatic should have people in these meetups to see what these people are actually saying. Now, I think they do have this to an extent because they have their own meetups. And then I haven't really attended too many of those, so maybe there is some like learn WordPress workshops and they're getting that vibe. But it's just very interesting because like I feel like the people that are going to those, I like where are we getting this data from? If we don't actually have the data, like we have to like get boots on the ground data, which again I appreciate the efforts for. So it's interesting to see that. And as soon as I jump in there and see that, and that's like people are having tough time like understanding themes, plugins. They have like decision fatigue. They don't know where to start with the research of what they're doing or what they're using. They don't know how to use the customizer because it's different in every certain theme and all that sort of stuff. Like it's just a nightmare. Like it's crazy. And I just think we're at that point now where there are like so many options that we either need to like have less options. I'm not saying I'm necessarily recommending that. I'm just throwing options out. There need to be less options, or there need to be more like documentation, or more like it's just it is very wild westy, and it doesn't seem wild westy to people that understand the information and know it and have been in it. But for outsiders, it just seems like it's crazy. And a lot of things are like that, but and I'm not saying these other platforms are even like that much better potentially. They just have the benefit of not having as many options, because you can only build websites in those other platforms like one way. So a lot of good, a lot of bad. I don't know. As why perhaps I attend too many. Not to use a political phrase, but there is definitely a silent majority and a high potential for echo chambers. I agree with that. I would say probably 100%. I agree. The needed stats are not just available. Polls and surveys can be indicators, but it is very easy to get highly skewed data. Yeah, I mean, you gotta. I feel like it wouldn't just be a one button click. Truthfully, I feel like it would have to be like a more of like a full survey, so you can understand who they are, where they're coming from, their experience level, and then get that, and then you would bucket that data basically into another thing. And I'm sure these things exist already. I did see one recently that was like, I can't remember, was it in the, it might have been in the creator call, actually, the YouTuber call, where like people brought it up, and like the I can't remember what, there was one stat that we were talking about in there, but um I don't know. I'd be interested to see where that sample size was from, how it got it, and everything like that. I was surprised to see that the general audience in my WP Meetup UK use FSC with custom blocks. I'd hope to see Bricks users. Um, hmm. I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like surprised by that. I actually like don't know. I feel like, again, if you like WordPress, you like where it's going, like you probably want people to go the route of blocks and Gutenberg, because like that is kind of like more native, and it is good. Um, I also think that most automaticians, and like the kind of like from the top down, probably want most next gen like future page builders to build atop of WordPress. Again, I think there's been a lot of really good like headway made into the idea of making core an actual core that could be extended. I just think that the way in which it has been by and large explained has not been very good, though, in that particular context. It's like you have people like Brian Cords, again, as great as always, a great example, knows his shit, goes on and extends things that he needs to extend, curates these experiences because he has that experience in like more of an enterprise level and all that sort of stuff, and it's fantastic. And he's an actual developer. But then you have people that like it's supposed to be easy, but the easy part isn't that easy. Like the extensibility is incredible, but the easy part isn't that easy, and that is what confuses people, because like you see it, and we're used to no code tools, and we're like, why don't we just go use Bricks? You know what I mean? Like Bricks doesn't even make the shit easier. Like going from Elementor to Bricks is not easy. You have to understand the language of web design, as Kevin says, right? Like it's not like it's holding your hand to an nth degree. There are some things you can, obviously we know that you can make it like better, but it's not holding your hand. It's not enabling you and making it simple. It's making it simpler to do more complex things. And I think that's what people appreciate. And I don't think that the Gutenberg project, to what I've seen, is making the simple things easier to do just yet. And it's also complicating the simple things, is kind of, I think, one other way that I'm just thinking about this now based on David's comment here. So I'm not like surprised that people are using blocks. I want to be in that realm a little bit more. I feel like just like naturally, but it's just it's not like jiving exactly with like kind of what I'm personally doing. And I mean, again, I'm not building sites literally every single day, but just building my own site. Like it was once I get past my design complete, like, you know, the handicap of me not being a designer, Like it's not hard to like, walk through like a bricks situation. And I've used the block editor especially recently, we've been on recent calls, meetup groups with like the block editor. It's just like it's so tough. I want to love it. I don't know. It's where I'm at. Hopefully it'll change. All right, time to go live with problems with WordPress. Yeah, we got to go over there. Um, that's your job, Mark. Go to meetups for AOS. Yeah. I wish I should be sponsored to do that. And spontaneously joined our meetup and has tried her best to join others. That's nice, sweet. But that's too much for one person. P.S. Ann McCarthy is sincerely the best. She's a great ambassador, advocate, obstetrician, 100%. I appreciate all of her efforts, especially in the YouTuber situation that we have going on right now. And I think more people need to go to these meetups. They need to see like the boots on the ground stuff. It doesn't need to be the same person necessarily every time. It just needs to be people like Ann that actually care to like see this stuff and then have, like the intuition to kind of be like, okay, that is concerning. Let's bring that back up, and just kind of go from there. I will say though, the problem that I do see, and I don't know how to fix this one, is that the prioritization. And I'm not great at prioritization. I'm not going to say I'm the best, but like this is really important, and there's a ton of things out there like that prioritization. And I think there is something in track for like level of priority, but I think there's a lot there that's just kind of, I don't know. I hope we continue to like move forward with that piece as well. And I don't have answers for that, but I'd always be down to chat about them. Has AI improved your workflow, help you build sites faster? Great question, 18. We need to go over there right now. Blocks and FSE are not synonymous. I use blocks on every site, including brick sites. Yes. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like the block editor, yeah, you absolutely have to potentially use for some things, and you can make an editing experience like quote unquote easier for people. FSE, yeah, is a different animal. And I'm hoping it all comes a little more cohesive together, but I'm not sure. Bricks is 100% simple. Green Shift, yep, another one. And yeah, I guess like Gutenbricks as well is like another example. Cool. All right, let's do some cool stuff. Maybe. I don't know. You guys will tell me if it's cool. All right. Let's go over to Claude. Okay, so has AI, I don't know why I just switched back. Has AI improved your workflow or helped you build sites faster? Did I just screw this up? Okay, that'll work. Okay. So I would say to a degree. I mean, there's a lot more things you can do, but I will just kind of give you the high level on just a couple things, and maybe I'll try to like build something here. I've tried a lot of different things. I made these videos here recently on the YouTube channel. If I scroll all the way down here, also if you want to see all my tools, you can go here. These are all everything that I've personally used. I got a video that I'm going to throw on this page here in a set, once I get off here or whatever, about like kind of the example. But I'll tell you guys right now, because you're here and you're supporting. I appreciate all of you. The real quick thing about the tools is this is every tool I've ever used, and it's probably growing still because it's not currently every tool. But every tool that I've used. So this is not like every WordPress tool or every business tool. This is every tool that I have used, that I have experience with, that I have like an opinion on based on using. And each one of them doesn't really have it right now, but they're going to have those opinions. So they all have like filters and different things like that, and data all attached to it. Did it with Jet Engine, custom fields, all that. But all of this is the reason I'm doing this is because I have a hypothesis that some people care, at least David Bell cares, about the tools that I use, right? And the things that I've done and my experience and my opinions with these, right? So if I do all of this, then I can kind of give you guys a glimpse into potentially saving yourself some time and some headache, right? Like if I tell you that HubSpot is a really cool platform, I got into it and I thought like, oh, I was going to use it for all my whole CRM and my whole email marketing, everything like that, because it does all that. And then I got to the point where I needed to add something, and it was like $200 like for the first year, and then it was going to be like 3 times that much the second year, and then if you want to go up another level, it's like $1,300 a month or some ridiculous shit. Like I was like, okay, if you're not an enterprise level operation, it maybe just skip that one, okay? You know what I mean? So like learn from my mistakes or my pain or just from my experience. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about, right? Because this isn't just going to have my full stack on it. Like this page isn't going to have my full stack, just that. It's going to have the things that I have used, I don't use, stuff like that. Like I don't have Elementor on here, but I will put Elementor on here. I'll be like, I don't really use this right now anymore. But I did use it as a a thing for a very long time, my main builder for a very long time, and I just, I was having some problems at that point. Maybe it's better now. I don't really know. I don't use it as much anymore. I've got some legacy stuff, but I moved to bricks and just kind of telling the story through the tools. I really think that hopefully that'll be somewhat valuable for people. The secondary thing is that I'm going to have blueprints though, and I already have them set up. They're just in the back end, but like you can kind of see if you just go here right now. You can go to blueprints, and right here you'll have like this is not done, but you'll have like agency operations, brochure, website, content creation. If you guys have some other ones, let me know and I will put them together. But the idea is if you come to me and you say, hey, Mark, I want to know what you use on a brochure website. I got you, dog. Here is what I do. And again, this isn't going to look like this, but I'm going to walk you through like my example of what I use on pretty much my current, this will be my current, right? This will be my current blueprint for a brochure website, or this will be my current blueprint for how my agency operates, right? And I want to go beyond just the technical shit because I'm more than just technical stuff. I like the business side of it. I like, the content side of it. So that's what I'm kind of talking about there. So there's a lot of cool things here. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Obviously not the main topic of what we're kind of exactly talking about right now, but yeah. Mark, where do the green labels from your brick structural panel come from? I do use DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, and I think it's Advanced Themer. Where are we at here? In here, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, this is Advanced Themer. Brendan is the man for Advanced Themer because I know it. I use it. I've gotten a little bit better at it. But yeah, I think David, do you use Advanced Themer as well? I'm not sure, but like, yeah, just there's a lot of really good content out there from the boys on that. I don't think I've made a specific Advanced Themer video yet, but it definitely does have a lot of benefits for bricks, so that's dope. Okay, so Brendan and I talked about this a little bit last week. We're talking about like the API and everything like that. We also had our buddy Jeremy on the stream last week. You guys, this total special guest. That was awesome. But he put together kind of like a full like using N8N to get my YouTube videos in. And then I'll kind of show you just as an example real quick, like what I've done on my end to this. Because I think that'll be the best way to kind of do this. And maybe we'll do the live thing, or maybe I'll just make a separate video about that. But I just want to give you guys, let me give you guys a little bit of context. I made the video about it the other day, but here's the thing is like, I would highly recommend that you potentially look into like a Claude or something like that. Claude's just one of the best for the way that it outputs the code and you kind of see it and everything like that. You can probably use ChatGPT too. But if you have a problem that you can't solve in the builder, all you have to do is like feed it, and especially if it involves code, you just have to feed this thing like the information that it kind of needs, or say like, hey, walk me through the information that you need to get this done. And here's what I want to do, da, da, da. And then it kind of helps you. So for instance, well, real quick, another idea that I have is like a domain availability thing. So like I want to create a domain wish list program, a simple program that I can add domains to as a list. It pings the domain API, possibly I can once a day, gets the status of domain names, and it ideally would notify me if it ever becomes available. So I have like 10 domain names that I might want, but they're taken and they've been registered, but I want to know immediately when it comes. There's probably, like, I thought there was something like this. Google Domains had a wish list, but it doesn't anymore. And if I could do this myself, like, this seems like straightforward enough. So this is just an example. I didn't do that. That's slightly outside the scope of what we're talking about, but it is something kind of interesting that I was just had an idea. The other thing was like a YouTube video importer, which I actually did get to pretty much work, and I haven't made a video on this one yet. So if we go all the way back in this conversation, which is way up here, this is actually ridiculous. I want to just import my YouTube videos, and I'll show you the finished product right now to this extent, right? So I just want to import my YouTube videos. I'd like to do it via the API. You could use something like Zapier, N8N. There's a litany of other ones. Brennan just told me about, is it called trigger.dev? But this is, I feel like a relatively straightforward thing that I have been able to kind of get just with a code and a custom plugin. So that's all I did. And it's like, I need your help. You're a professional WordPress programmer. I have a WordPress website that I use. And I want to use the YouTube API to import videos from my channel, jet engine custom post types, ask me questions that you need in order to do that. I really, really recommend doing this ask me questions to get the data you need in order to create, in order to do whatever, because then it'll, and also do it one by one. So you can just like, it can ask you a question, you can get the information, you know what I mean? And it'll store all this. Like you don't have to, it's very smart. So we did all this, and then eventually it gave me like a custom plugin. It gives you multiple custom plugin files, and like you do it. And I literally downloaded VS Code to make this easier on myself, because I was using Notepad at first to edit some of the files when I had to do a couple little tweaks to them and everything like that. But ultimately, what it gives you is it gives me something like this. Like I know I'm all over the place with some of this, but I just want to give you like the high level of like what I've been able to do, and I'll have more supplemental videos on kind of like the lowdown and everything. But, and if you guys have any ideas like now or in the future, like I could try to build those live, or Brendan and I can hop on, or anybody, like we can do it live. I just don't want to, I don't want to be like fumbling around right now without actually, like showing you something of value. So like the YouTube sync, for instance, right? So it literally created this menu. Okay. I told it to create an admin menu. It created it. It's in the settings. It's down here. I didn't have to necessarily know how to do most of this stuff. You should be able to know like what you want though, for certain, and all that. But like, so the YouTube sync settings. So like if you configure, all I asked is like, I want to be able to configure the YouTube channel that I want to import from. So boom, I want to be able to configure the, put your API key in there. I want to be able to tell it how many videos like per import or whatever. And that doesn't make a ton of sense, but we can play around with that. And then test mode. So I want it to be able to like just import like 3 videos if it needs to. And these are importing these videos into a custom post type that I created with Jet Engine, and then I mapped the fields that I wanted to the proper place. So like for instance, I'll show you an example of this part, right? So if we go to videos, we have, so this is also dynamic. So we have 31 videos, right? And then over here, we have 31 videos in the back end, and I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try to change it to like 35. The way this works right now is I think it just takes the last 35 videos and puts it in there. So if we save these settings and we manually sync up, now it won't work. Great. I probably hit my quota. Maybe somebody stole my API key and just started using it all. So maybe I could change my thing real quick, and we can kind of test that. But yeah, so that's kind of annoying. But yeah, normally it would just add them in there. Let me go over there real quick on a different thing. But I mean, in order to do this, all you do is you just go to YouTube API. I should actually really check that. I want to, hang on one sec. Where is it? Dev console. Google Dev console. I mean, unless I've already hit it today or something. I don't know. This dev console is the most confusing thing you could ever imagine. Interesting. Let me see if I can get a new thing real quick. Credentials. Give me another key, bro. So this is a cool thing though. I mean, like the way that you build this is like you don't have to like go in the code and change this API key or anything like that. You could just probably just do it right here. Well, I mean, I know you could do it right here. I just don't know if it's going to work. All right. No, I don't know. Apparently I've exceeded my quota. I don't know how I exceeded. I'm sure I like had it like all like weird or something. But anyway, what I had it set to was I even went so far into the code as to like make it so it was only between like 8 a.m. and like midnight, because I'm not going to be streaming. I'm not going to be creating videos or whatever or anything like that. Like I did that for this. I did it for the live stream one. Like you can just do a lot of like interesting things. But again, you have to kind of know what you have to know, definitely have to know what you want, and you kind of have to know your way around code to a degree, which I don't entirely. So it's a little bit of an interesting, situation with that. However, though, to kind of wrap, the thesis of all this up is that this would absolutely increase the shit out of my workflow, either in code or with one of the automation tools, because I don't have to actually do all of this work, because I'd have to be downloading these images, uploading the image, compressing the image, uploading them or whatever. I'd have to be copying and pasting all this stuff in here, it would just be a nightmare, right? So then you can click on it, you can go over here and you can see it, and like this is just a simple layout right now, but like it even brings in the description and everything like that. Like I did not manually put this in. So to answer the question about the workflow, it does definitely, depending on what you're doing, increase the workflow, make it better. But you know, something to be considered there. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Let me go back to the things. Bricks just released version 10.3. Was that today? They did. Was it 2 yesterday? Yeah, advanced theme for a while. I use Bricks extras. We'll look at AT. I've used ChatGPT for dev environment enhancement stuff. Bricks native will finally. Yeah. Honestly, Claude is solid. I mean, I haven't used ChatGPT for too much code stuff, but yeah. I finally tried Claude recently. Blows ChatGPT out of the water for everything I've thrown at it. Love that. I was thinking about doing something similar using a podcast RSS feed. So, real quick on that, I should put this on this tool list. I absolutely will. If we go to right here, somebody asked this. I'm not sure if it was UAT in a group today. Was it this one? No, I used this one before. I don't know what the scope of what you're doing is. But, and I don't know. Can I just click on it instead? Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to send you this. I'm sure you get to it. But actually, no, I can't give you that. Right here. There you go. Here's this. I've used this before, which was pretty solid. I used it like when I had a podcasting website back in the day. I created a custom post type. I created custom fields and everything like that. And this is okay. It's maybe somewhere to start, depending on how quickly you want to do it. But pretty much it imports them directly into like whatever custom post type you want or anything like that. Brendan and I talked about this, I think, last week. You have to make a decision if you want the content to live on your website or you just want to pull it in. In a lot of cases with this type of content, I feel like you want to put it on the website so you have another place on the internet where it could be indexed. And you could actually get any sort of domain authority from the stuff that you're already doing. That's what I'm doing with the videos. Like they are hosted on YouTube still, but I want like a transcript or the description and everything like that to be on my website. So potentially I could rank for those types of things. I'm not saying I make great SEO friendly content right now, but that's the concept. It also just makes your website more robust. But this is kind of just quick screenshot of what that does. So maybe look into that if you want to do that, or go the automation approach. Because you could definitely get more customized depending on the platform that you're using and the stuff that you want to do there, I would say. Question was, what documentation did you upload to give it back the knowledge to write a custom plugin? That is a fantastic question, Joe. Let me see here. All right, so here's the issue. The issue with this is that, I will stop for a second. There is a Bricks Builder GPT from GPT Shed, I think. I don't know, but if you go to explore GPTs on ChatGPT, you can type in Bricks Builder. There is one. I think it's pretty good, but I also don't know if there's like limits or anything like that. I used it for a couple minutes, but then I was like, this way's kind of better because I like the way Claude operates more, and you can so I'll just walk you through a couple of these things real quick. In here, I'm dropping in a JSON file that I literally just exported. You could do this with ACF, but I exported it from Jet Engine, like right in the UI, and all this is doing is just telling it the way via JSON, the way that my my custom post type is set up, like with the fields and everything like that. From that, it's able to spit. I don't know if it's just cleaning it up or whatever, but it's able to tell me. It's able to reiterate to me. It's like, okay, Mark, here is what we got from that file. You have like a post type called videos. You have posted date, which is a custom field. You have YouTube URL. You have duration, video description, transcript, and then you need that because you need to map in this import. You need to map the YouTube API fields to the fields in your website, right? So that's one thing you're gonna have to upload. The other thing you're gonna have to upload is this thing doesn't know Bricks documentation that well, and Bricks has evolved, I think, since this data set came out and whenever its usable life is. I don't know whenever the data thing cut off. But the other thing you're going to have to upload is literally Bricks documentation, which is very good in my opinion for the most part. So I don't know if I have any of these other. I put it in here somewhere. I'm just not sure what it is. But basically, here's what's going to happen to you. Okay, you're going to want to It might not even be this one specifically, but you're going to want to do something like maybe have a custom dynamic data tag. Okay, I showed this in the other videos, but I'll tell you right here real quick. If I go to, where can I just go? Can I just like edit something? Where's a good example? Let me go to my about page. No, it's in Media Kit. Right here. So here's an example, okay? I'm blending two examples. I'm trying to think of how I would do it with the other one. But here's an example, okay? Let's say that this is a very good one that you guys could all absolutely use, like, because this is so straightforward. Like, it's like so something that you'd be like, oh shit. So like I talked about in the age one, the age video that I pull up, but it could be anything. You see this right here? This is a custom, I know there's a lot of shit going on in this editor here, but this is a custom dynamic data tag, for instance, okay? So if you click on dynamic data in Bricks or in other, I'm sure you can do it in other builders too, as long as they have like an API. Like now I have YouTube live status and I have custom tags. Well, you guys aren't gonna have those. Those are not like in the native Bricks thing or, you know, whatever, like ACF or anything. Like it's not in there. But Bricks is great. It has an API. You can add whatever the hell you want in here as long as you know how to do it, or you tell Claude how to do it. So like for instance, like if I add my current age, it'll pop that. And if I use live status, it'll, you know, pop in like live video now that I created. And it's just like they're basically dynamic data. Either import like a number. In this case, it's like a calculation of my age, or, you know, some text or whatever you want, right? You guys probably know kind of how dynamic data works. If you don't, wpdynamicdata.co. But anyway, so you have something like that. If you go over to Claude, it's not going to know exactly how to do that. It's going to guess. And that's the thing I hate about these AI models right now is they don't tell you, they don't like preface it with like, hey, I don't really have all the information to make this work that, you know, what I think. I'm just going to give you some gobbledygook that is like very close and probably would work in some sort of setting. I mean, I don't know if this is technically a hallucination that I'm describing here or not. It might be, but I just hate it that it doesn't like, it's not like a person. It's like, hey, I actually don't know how to do this. Can you give me a little bit more information? Because if it did that, then it would be fantastic. You have to really like massage it and tell it what to do. It's kind of like a toddler. So what I did is I was like, okay, I know that I want a dynamic data tag. So I'm like, can you do that? So I was like, dynamic data tag, and then I'll just say like custom and then Bricks. Okay, and then create your own. Oh shit! Look at this. So then all you do, I swear to God, all you do, don't put the link in, because a lot of them don't have the opportunity to like. You would think, oh, just go look at this page and read the shit for yourself, Claude. No, just grab this. Okay, just grab this like this. Just get whatever you want. Copy it. Come back over here, and then paste it right in here, and it just automatically pastes it. It's gonna know. It's gonna read it, and then you have to say, hey, I went to the next message you put in with that. I went to the documentation. This is how you create a dynamic tag. Do it like this with what we discussed, and then it normally gives you something good, and that's how you get it. I would also recommend, one other tip is try to do this stuff kind of in pieces if you can. I haven't fully fleshed this out, but when you throw a ton of stuff at it, it's just more shit that you're going to have to debug and figure out. And this is what I'm running into with the YouTube live thing, because I want to make it have like, I really want to create it have that's the other one, is I want it to have a dynamic condition, right? So we talked about dynamic tags there. I want to have it have a custom condition, which I already do have now, like YouTube channel is live, and then I can say like is or is not live, like that obviously wasn't in there. Like you could do that. You can do all this stuff with Claude. You can do this stuff with Claude and the Bricks API. If you type in custom conditions Bricks or whatever, like it has an API for that, which is fantastic. But you have to like, if you're not a programmer and you're not going to do it yourself, then you have to like really be super ready to debug some stuff with this, because it's good, but it's going to make mistakes, especially if you don't give it enough information. I hope that helped a little bit. Where are we at? All right, so we talked about that one. I haven't used ChatGPT in a long while. It's not bad. I really, you know what I like ChatGPT? I like ChatGPT on my phone for talking back and forth to it, because that's really cool. I'm sure Claude's gonna have that soon. I know I used Gemini Live for the other day for the first time. That was kind of cool. Same type of thing. Mark Macy, that was one thing I was thinking about this weekend with your plugin, managing number of API calls and exposing your API key on the front end. Maybe the API, maybe preemptively making that change. Yeah. I'm sure there's an issue. I'm gonna have to delete those API keys and everything like that, and probably get another one. I'm sure it's not a good idea I should probably lock the API key down if you can see it on the very front end. On this menu thing here too, or wherever I was showing that, like this was something that I tried to fix. I think I can just change this to a password field, and you might not be able to see it here or something. But I think we're talking about more on are you talking more on like actually seeing it, like inspecting and seeing it at all? Because I know I should probably lock it down more, but obviously in the MVP stage here. I swear I'll spell your name right one of these days. That's fine. Appreciate it. Yeah, 100% appreciate you being here. Catch you guys later. Almost time to. Oh, nice. Head out. Nice. Well, let us know how that is, David. Please, it'll be very interesting to see that. I was like, oh yeah, 10 a.m. Thursday. Mark should be live. Yeah. Okay, because I had ChatGPT write a Python script to scrape all the WordPress documentation for the custom plugins and Jet Engine documentation as a start. I was manually telling it mapping JSON smart. Yeah, yeah. If you just go to Jet Engine, if you go here, Jet Engine here, I think. Call it skins manager. Export skin and export whatever you want. So literally all I did was I clicked videos, I clicked export, and it's not going to take your content out. You could do sample content if you wanted to. It's not going to take your content. It's just going to take that, the way that the thing is set up. Yeah, I can't see the live internet. Modular seems to be the best way for, yep. And then you can store your API key in an environment and variable and then have the pull API key. That's a good idea. Yeah. Not a bad idea there. Yeah, I got to play around with it, but I'm just trying to see like if this stuff is possible, and also just kind of like make content on it for you guys because I want to see how difficult it is right now. Because again, like I really hold the opinion that it's not that bad, but it's also not that good. Like it's way better than what we had. Like it's amazing that I can do that, but it's not. I guess I wish it was a little bit more like a human. That's funny. I wish it was more like I wish the algorithm was more like, okay, I don't know exactly how to do this, but I don't know how you would, how you would do that. I wish it would be like, can you do this? And it's like, no, I can't really. Like especially with programming stuff, because like there's so many different ways that you could get yourself into a rut, and then you'd have to debug, and it's just real pain in the ass when you don't know exactly what you're doing. But I would say it's a good way to start getting involved into programming though, to a degree. But you have to go in with the uh, expectation that it's not like you're talking to a professor that has done something, or a product developer or something that has done something a lot and like really good at it. You have to come at it from the perspective of somebody, as it is a tool that is helping you get some of the basics down, and then you have to kind of take it the rest of the way. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I'm gonna make a video as I continue to do this. I might make one like we were talking about the other day with Brennan and Jeremy about the automation way to do it, and then also maybe I'll make a custom plugin or whatever. But I don't know. Just kind of interesting. I want to save myself a lot of time, especially with the YouTube videos and everything like that, and I want to see what I can do from a automation standpoint, because I feel like we could do some really cool stuff on this website as a little bit of a playground to experiment with some things, and then maybe share those ideas with you guys. So that's all I got. I'm gonna go and probably catch the rest of Matt's stream over there. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for listening to me, all the great comments. Can't say enough how appreciative I am of that. And let me know what you guys want to see in the next one, following content, everything like that. And I will talk to you at the latest next week, 7 days from now. Every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for being here.